All right, so we're going to continue doing some practice problems so you can review these. So back to chapter 4. Remember, chapter 4 is rates and unit rates, ratios, proportions, and percentages. So remember, a rate or unit rate is just a fraction comparing two quantities where the two quantities do not have the same units of measure. A ratio is a fraction comparing two quantities where they do have the same unit of measure. Proportions and percentages are basically the same thing. You can write those as fractions, decimals, or percentages. Again, all these are from the class lecture as well as in the lecture notes. So let's do a few of these. So this one is a rate, and when you can see, because we're comparing cans to dollars, so you just put the numbers in. So I have the grocery store offers 5 cans for $5, or basically $1 a piece. But they don't want us to write it as a unit rate. They just wanted us to write it as a rate. So 5 cans to $5. Or sort of change the numbers a little bit just so you can see that where they go. Not always the same. All right. So submit answer. Try similar. So now we go. Here's one that's different. Ethan needs to work 60 hours every 4 weeks. So this is then 60 hours in 4 weeks. And so it doesn't say to simplify, even though you can simplify this down, just put it in like it is for these problems. If it says to simplify, then definitely simplify. All right, so 108 of 220 participants in club activities are residents. Write a ratio of residents to non-residents who participate in club activities. Write the ratio in the lowest terms. This one you got it. You can write it as a fraction or a colon. All right, so what we have to be careful with here is the wording. All right, so we know 108 are residents, and it doesn't want you to compare the 108 to the participants. It wants you to compare it to the non-residents. So then I have to take 224 and subtract 108, which gives me 116, right? So 224 minus 108. That will give me the 116 for the non. And I have 108 of the res. And now I do have to simplify that, right? So I think 4 can go into both of those. So let's try that. So 108 divided by 4. Again, you can just type this in your calculator. This gives me 27 residents. And then 116 divided by 4 gives me 29 non-residents. 29 is a prime, so I know it's simplified all the way. I put the R and N just so you could follow along. That's not part of the answer. I'm going to put this one using colons just so you can see both different ways. And there is our ratio of residents to non-residents. So make sure we read through. And see. So clear my notes here. Annotate, clear my drawings. There we go. Sorry, I keep turning the pencil off and on to write on here. I should make these videos on my iPad because I can just write right on it. That'd probably be a little bit better. But so a bag contains the following marbles: 3 black marbles, 6 blue marbles, 15 brown marbles, 24 green marbles. Write the ratio of brown to blue. So I want brown, which is 15. And the blue is 6. So brown to blue. I'm going to do the colon again. It doesn't say to simplify, but I'm assuming it wants us to. I'm going to try to simplify because 3 can go into both of these. So this becomes 5 to 2. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And then 6 divided by 3 is 2. Man, it didn't want to simplify. So if you do, it should warn you if it doesn't want it to be simplified. So we always get, that's why it's always good to do practice before you certify for those of you that are certifying. That way you know what they want you to do. All right, so let's go on to the next one. What number is 56% of 750? So there's quite a few different ways to do this problem. As much as say I don't like words, use the words here. So is means equals. Of is to multiply, right? So what number, that's a question, so a question mark, is 56%. So you got to take a percent away. So that becomes 0.56. And again, you move the decimal 2 places to the left to put it in decimal form, or you can divide by 100 of, again, it means to multiply. So I am just going to type in 0.56 times 750 equals 420 in my calculator. And again, if you take a Math 030, there is ways to set up the cross multiplication things. I think that I feel it's more work, but if that's a method that you like, please use it. I just follow what the words tell me to do. Remembering that is equals and of means to multiply. All right, so the bill for dinner was $42.05. You left $9.09. What percentage? So anytime you're doing percentage, it's kind of what you're solving for over the total. So this would be, I don't think it's gonna let me put a fraction key in. No, I wanted to just type it out so I didn't have to use my pen, but that's right. I'll write it out so we can see it. All right, so this 995 is the numerator over the denominator. And again, because you're adding this symbol, you multiply this thing by 100. Anytime you want to add a percent symbol, multiply by 100. If you want to get rid of the symbol, then you divide by 100. Or if you know the whole move the decimal trick, that works as well. So 9.95 divided by 42.05. I get 0.2366. So I'm going to times that by 100. So I get 23.66. It wants you to round to the nearest whole percent. So I have in my calculator right now 23.66%. 6 is greater than 5, so I round up. So my answer is 24%. All right, so a sugar cooking recipe that makes 3 dozen cookies calls for 1 teaspoons of baking soda. How much baking soda will we need to make 2 dozen cookies? So this is kind of a cross rate problem because they are different measurements. So if I know there's 3 cookies for every 3 dozen, sorry, 1.5 teaspoons, I think it's TSP. Right? And I need to change this to equal 2 dozen cookies is how many teaspoons, so X. And so what you can do is you can cross multiply. So what you do is you multiply this numerator with this denominator, sorry, so that's 3x, put in my equals, and then multiply, change my colors, 1.5 with the 2, so that should just be 3. So this is equals just to 3, and then use some algebra solve, divide both sides by 3. 3 over 3 is 1, so x equals 1. So I need 1 teaspoon. And again, there's lots of ways to solve these, but kind of when I'm comparing things, I set it up as a quick rate or proportion system, and then I can do that cross trick. And you could have done that one before with the of and stuff. All right, so how are we doing? I'm gonna do a few more, and then I'll start skipping some, because a lot of these are with words. So I know word problems make us nervous, but if we just take our time, we can kind of work through these. So a Blu-ray costs $80.99 in the store. What is the total cost if there's a sales tax of 0.55%, right? So we take that percentage, multiply it by the price, and then we add the 2 figures together, right? So this one I'm actually gonna type out so it's a little easier. So I take 80.99 and I multiply that by 0.055, because remember we had to move the decimal 2 places, so 1, 2. Or again, if you don't remember how many places to move the decimal, or you're not exactly sure, just always take the percentage number and divide it by 100 and you'll get it. All right, so if we multiply those together, 80.99 times 0.055. I get 4.45445. And I always like to go more. I don't round now. I try not to round to the very end, because now I just take that number and I add it to the 80.99. Right? And if you did this in your calculator, you can just hit plus on your calculator. It'll take your previous answer and just add it to the 80.99. And now I get 85.44, all those 4s and 5s. So now I can round it. So I get 80.444. Well, the 4 is less than 5, so I don't round. I keep the number the same, so $80.44. Oh, did I round bad? No, I typed it in wrong. That would help. So make sure you're paying attention to what your calculator says. I'll even try again. I get $85.44. I looked down at my calculator, typed the numbers in wrong. So that's the good news with this. It'll say, are you sure? And you can check your answer. So yeah, that was just a bad typo. And you can look, if 4 plus 80 is 84. So, and then the 99 brings it up. So even with a calculator, sometimes we get typing too fast. All right, annotate. Yeah. Wait, we'll just leave it there. I'll clear it in the next one, because I'll probably need my pen again anyway. All right, so is having a clearance sale, as all clearance items are marked an additional 30% off the sale price. A dress that originally cost $60 before any discount is on sale for 15% off. What is the final price? Wow, so it looks like this is a double percentage off problem. So we get 15% off, and then we get a 35% off. And so you have to do these separately. As much as we think we can add them together, the number will be off. So first I'm going to take the $60 and I'm going to reduce to take the 15% off of it, right? So I'm going to do $60 times 0.15. Put my decimal in the wrong place, so we fix that. 0.15. So 60 times 0.15. Now I just typed in my calculator the same way. 0.15, there we go. That is equal to 9. So I take $60 and minus 9, which then gives me 51. And then I'm going to take additional 0.35 off that one. So what was that? 51 times 0.35 is 1785. So now I can take 51, subtract the 17.85, and I get 3315. Oops. There is other ways to do it, but I just kind of walked through the simplest of the 2 steps. Apply the first discount, apply, and you think when you go to the store, right, you scan a coupon, they don't add the coupons together, they scan each coupon individually. The system is doing this as well. It first takes off this, then it'll take off the other. All right, so for this problem, let's get it set up. So we gotta be careful with how that's worded here. We're gonna change a few things, right? So there's a 6 to 5 between domestic and foreign, but when we set up our thing, we want to find domestic. So 6 plus 5 is 11. So my ratio is 6 to 11, 6 domestic to 11 total. And because having total here, that's why I knew how to add, why I should put these together. If this would have said foreign, then I could have just used 5 over 6 or 6 over 5. So because this is total, I need these things to be the same. So this is total. This is total. So 2673. That's why I kind of sometimes write what they are. And then this is domestic. And I'm looking for domestic. And now you can do your cross multiplication thing. And so when you get comfortable with these, you don't have to go through all the steps that I did earlier. They're not wrong to. But since X is already in the numerator, if I take this and I multiply it by the 6 and then divide by the 11, I will get the answer I need. So 6 times 2673, then divided by 11, gives me 1458. So you got to manipulate the word problems to set them up into equations that work for you. So ore is gold and diamond. What is the percentage of ore? It is neither gold nor diamond. All right, so for this one, I'm gonna get my pen back here. If I add these two percentages to get up, that will tell me how much ore and gold are in there, right? And then I subtract that from 100%, and I'll have what is not gold or ore. So I just take 100, and it's already in percent, so I'm actually typing 100 minus 0.0083 minus 0.039, because it has a symbol. I don't have to move any decimals around. And I got to round this to the nearest 10,000th, right? So that's the third decimal place, right? So when I subtract those as they are, we're using the number 100 for 100%. I get 99.9, that's my tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. Next. Clear my drawing so we can see this is what we need to do. So you're making a dessert, but the recipe needs to be adjusted. Your sugar cookies, recipe makes 2 dozen cookies, but you need 3. Yep, just do the, just like that we did before. You'll do 1 for each one of these. Setting up is the proportion cross, as we did as the cookies before. We did just 1 of them, but now you got to do it 3 different times because there's 3 different answers. So one group contains 615 people. 3/5 of the people in group A will be selected to win 50 fuel cards. Sorry, I was reading the whole thing because I'm being careful on my words here. So we have group A that has 615 people. And out of those 615 people, 3/5 of the people in group A we selected to win. So if I multiply this by 3/5, that will tell me how many people win cards. So 615 times 3 divided by 5. 369 win. There's another group B in the town hall that will receive the same number of fuel cards, right? So that means they also have 369 that will win. But there's only 526, so actually more win in that town. So then if we subtract 369 from both of these numbers, we will figure out how many people did not win. So 615 minus 369, 246. 526, make sure I got the right numbers here, minus 369 is 157. Right? And the reason I'm subtracting because it wants the ratio of non-winners to non-winners. So my ratio is 246 to 157. I am going to put this in my calculator to see if I need to simplify it. And I'm using the fraction key because if I use the fraction key, it will simplify for me. And it does not simplify. So get rid of my pen. 246 colon 157. Which is the smallest? Well, this is multiply. Remember, of means to multiply, so 1/2, 1/4, 1/5, and you figure out which one's smaller. I think. Well, okay, skip. cross multiplication. So 2 over 5 equals x over 30, right? Or another trick is to get from 5 to 30, I have to multiply it by 6. So to get from 2 to whatever number goes there, I have to multiply that also by 6. So lots of different ways to try these. Find the method that works for you. Again, another percentage on scarves. So 18 over the, once you spend over the total will give you a percentage. Remember to multiply by 100 to give your symbol. Yeah, 1/4 of students that live in the country. If 1/4 of students live in the country, then that means 3/4 do not live in the country, right? Now, there's no numbers here, so we'll kind of write this out just so, because I know a lot of you just see the words without the numbers and your anxiety starts to pick up a little bit. So just to show this, not too bad. So if 4 out of every 15 trick-or-treaters that come to your house last Halloween were dressed as witches. So every 4 kids out of 15 total, 4 were witches. So right, 4 witches to 15 total. What is the proportion of trick-or-treaters that were not dressed as witches? Well, if 4 were witches, and this is my total, well, 15 minus 4 is 11. So 11, we'll use our little not symbol, not witches, out of the 15 total. So put my fraction key, just because we haven't done one of those. Remember, you gotta put your fraction key in first. You can use the keypad if you want as well. I just hit the slash on my keyboard, but always on Hawks, you must put the fraction key in first. And let's see, annotate, clear, next. All right, so another proportion set up. Let's see if there's anything crazy. Usually it's determined the better by. All right, so this is to go to unit rates, right? And so all a unit rate means is you want this denominator to become a 1, right? So to do unit rate, if I take 11, because that's how you can compare things, because right now I can't really tell which is better. So 1183 over 10, and then 1435 over 2. 12, not 2, sorry. I was reading to see how they wanted our answer. We need this to be 1 on the bottom. So I basically divide both by 10. So 11.83 divided by 10 is, I'm paying $1, 1.183 per candy bar. And then if I take 14.35 and I divide that by 12, I am paying 1.1958 for each candy bar. So this candy bar is a little bit cheaper. So when I type my answer in, I make sure I type it in as a number. So this one is actually cheaper at $1.18 per candy bar. Right, so this is a unit rate problem. And anytime you do with a unit rate, you get the bottom number, the denominator, to be 1. All right, so this one I get a lot of questions on. So this might, well, we'll check a few more after, but this might be the last problem I do for the homework. So Lindsay wants to buy her house. All right, so she needs to allow for the commission, right? And so I'm going to put this in text form because it'll be, instead of me writing my horrible handwriting. A lot of times people want to just do what we've been doing and multiplying 4% by this, but it actually throws the price off a little bit. So I'll explain the trick and then I'll show it algebraically why it works, right? So basically, if I take 100% and I minus the commission, no $, sorry, on keyboard, I get what percentage of the money I earn. And so then if I take how much I want to earn of the $215,900 and I divide it by 0.96, how much of it is my money, that will tell me that the price is going to be 224,895.833. I always go a little bit more, even though it's money, so we can see rounding rules, right? And a lot of times I get questions, well, why would that work? Well, if we think algebraically for a minute, how do I find out profit? Profit is equals original price I paid, bought something for, minus how much I sell it for, right? And so if I got those backwards. Sold minus how much I sold something for, how much I instead of doing it, that's what we bought, right? That's how you know. That's how you know if you made a profit, right? So in this example, we know our profit is going to be 215,900 because that's how much Lindsay wants. We don't know how much. Why did I put a comma? Equals. We don't know how much she sold it for, right? But we know that there's a bot, which we'll call the commission here, that there's a 4% commission. And how do we find that? That's where you multiply this thing by 0.04. And again, how much it sold, right? So I take how much I sell for and I subtract off the commission and I get the leftover money, right? So I guess instead of writing bot, we could type in sold minus commission. That might be better verbiage for this type problem. Well, this, even though it's not shown there, has a 1 in front of it. So 1 minus 0.04 is 0.94. 0.94x. So 215,900 equals 0.94x, right? And now if I want to solve for x, I divide both sides by 0.94. And now I am back to what I just said to do right there. And so we get our answer of 224,895.83. Yep, so there's another setup of proportions. Find the unit price, remember that's getting the denominator to be 1. Oh, okay, we haven't talked absolute change and percent change, so I guess we can do this one too. Where am I going here? Annotate, clear my drawings. So in 4.4 on notes, we have formulas for absolute change and percent change. So absolute change, let me bring up my other screen so we can see here. Draw, erase. New share, go back to my OneNote. So remember, here's some formulas in 4.4. Absolute change, make sure I'm sharing the right screen. I am good, dude. Okay. Is new amount minus the original amount, and I take the absolute value. Percent change is the absolute change divided by whatever the original amount is times 100%. So that's what we're going to do here. So I'll go back to my Hawks. So we need to define original is the first number. So 100 is increased to 376. So what the formula says to do is I take 100. Oh, no, sorry, I got it backwards. New amount. So it's going to be new 376 minus 100. And then I take the absolute value of that, right? So that's 276 and it's positive. So and remember, absolute value just makes the answer positive. So if you get a negative number, just realize it needs to be positive. So this one is going to be, I'm going to just write above it for now, 276. That's the absolute change. And to find percent change, I take the absolute change of 276 and I divide it by the original amount. Remember, the original amount is what we started with, so divide that by 100. And then I'm also going to multiply this by 100 to get the symbol. And this is just dumb luck. These are both 100s. It's not always going to be 100. This number is always 100. This number is whatever you start with. And because they're both 100s, they cancel out. So I end up with getting the same answer. So I might do a similar one just so you can see the numbers are not always the same. So clear my drawings, kill my pen. So this ends up being 276 as well as 276. All right, try similar. I want the numbers to be different. There we go. So we'll have a different one here. 94 is increased to 264. So again, I'm going to take 264 and I'm going to subtract the 96, which gives me 168. And now I take the 168, I divide it by the original amount in this case, which is 96, and then I multiply the entire thing by 100 because I have a percent symbol, and I get 175. So using those formulas on there is kind of the key. 30% of trees, yep, so another one of changing them around to find the percentages, and then another one of doing it unit dollars. So went through quite a few of those problems, 16, so quite a few. Hopefully the videos are helping you. Email me if you have any questions.